Alright, things are a little bit different when I'm asked to find a perpendicular line to a given line. Remember that a perpendicular line is going to look something like this. It is not going to have the same slope. It has a very different slope. Not very different, it's actually sort of the same, which is to say that if this slope is 4 over 3 with a rise of 4 over a run of 3, the way I found the perpendicular slope is I take the negative reciprocal. And the negative reciprocal is the number that you multiply this by to get 1. So if this is 4 over 3, my reciprocal is going to be 3 over 4. But I need to take the negative reciprocal, which is to say take whatever sign this is and change it. This is currently positive, so I'll change it and make it a negative. If this were a negative, I would make this a positive. They're both negative reciprocals of each other. This is the slope of the line that I'm looking for. Okay, so now I've got the slope of the line I'm looking for. I want it to go through this point. Well, that's no different than what we did before when we tried to find the equation of a line parallel. I'm simply going to plug this into my slope-intercept form. Remember, that's y equals mx plus b. And I'm going to plug it in, I get y equals negative 3 over 4 times x plus b. But of course I haven't got a b. How do I solve for b? Well, I do have x and y values, so I'm going to plug them into this equation. So let's plug it in. I'm going to get a 3 here equals negative 3 over 4. And I'm going to write this as a fraction. So this is my x. I'm going to write it as negative 5 over 1. It just makes the multiplication a little bit easier to see. Now I just solve for b. So let's multiply this through. I'm going to get 3 equals 15 over 4 plus b. And what's 15 over 4? 15 over 4 is 3.75. Alright, so we're going to subtract 3.75 from both sides. And what am I left with? I'm left with b equals negative 0.75. Or 3/4, whichever way you'd like to do it. So now I plug all my numbers back into slope-intercept form. I get y equals negative 3 over 4x minus 0.75. And there we are in slope-intercept form. Let's try it in point-slope form. So point-slope form, I'm going to take the exact same problem. I need to find the slope that is perpendicular. So the slope perpendicular, again, I think negative reciprocal. That's going to be a negative 3 over 4. And now I'm going to plug it into this equation, which is going to be y equals y sub 1 plus m x minus x sub 1, where my x sub 1 and my y sub 1 are the real numbers that I'm dealing with in this problem. So let's plug them in. Y equals y sub 1 is 3 plus m, my slope, is negative 3 over 4 times x minus my real value. But wait, it is a minus 5, so I want it to be minus 5. That's a plus 5. And now I'm going to distribute and collect like terms. Y equals 3 plus negative 3x over 4. What do I get here? I'm going to get negative 15 over 4. Negative 15 over 4. Well, we've seen this number before, haven't we? Y equals, that's going to be negative 3.75, or negative 3 3/4. And I'm going to add that to my 3. Well, subtract it from my 3. So I'm going to move my slope down here because I want it in slope-intercept form. So I put my mx first. There we go. And now my b is going to be minus 0.75. There we go. Slope-intercept form. And in both cases, I have y equals negative 3 over 4x minus 75.